All right. It's the last day of October, and that means it's the last day of Object-Oriented October on Exercism. I actually already finished enough exercises to get the badge. I knocked them out in one day using a language called Crystal. And it was actually pretty straightforward, but of course I did some very simple exercises. And I figured I would just do a few more exercises before the end of the month. Um, and I do hope to revisit Crystal and get a better idea of more object-oriented aspect of it. Now, what's really interesting to me is I've heard a lot of great things about Crystal. A lot of programming language forums that I visited, people would bring up different aspects and saying, "I wish I had this from this language. I wish I had that," and people would respond with, "Hey, you should try Crystal." Crystal is a language that shares the syntax with Ruby, and actually shares a lot of the semantics with Ruby as well, because Ruby is also an object-oriented programming language. But Crystal is compiled versus Ruby, which is interpreted, and Crystal has some more improvements on the type system, I believe it is. Um, I'm not entirely sure what the main advantages are, but I've just heard some good things and want to try it out. Um, so I got through the hello world, the booleans, numbers, number types, classes. I could go through more of the object-oriented stuff to get an idea of that, but I think what I'll do is I'll continue moving on through this curriculum that they have here. So Crystal is one of the more well-rounded tracks here on Exercism, which is kind of cool. So let's do this one. And I've been doing it in Vim, hopefully to kind of reduce some of the memory usage that I've been running into. Um, we'll see if that helps the stream or not. But, whoops. But I'm not very proficient in Vim, so you have to bear with me in that. So let's cd into Exercism Crystal Party Robot. Now I believe what we need to do, we say Crystal spec to run the tests. Oh, I forgot to mention. So I do have some familiarity with the syntax of Crystal already because I've written quite a fair amount of Elixir. What's interesting about Elixir is it shares the same syntax, but the semantics are vastly different. It is a functional programming language with absolutely no mutation um, and no object-oriented concepts as well. So, but they do share the same syntax, so at least that makes it somewhat familiar. All right, so let's open up. I think it's located under source, and we'll open up the Crystal file here. So, says, please implement party robot welcome method. Let's take a look what we have to do here. Okay. More or less pretty straightforward. If I need to reference that, I will on the strings. Strings should be pretty straightforward. It's actually really funny though how many languages get strings wrong. Haskell is one of the languages that's known for getting strings completely wrong. So much so that people have had to supplement the standard library with or replace the standard library essentially. Um, Other languages, Elixir gets strings weird. I won't say wrong necessarily. Let's pull that up because it's kind of fun to see. All right, let's open up IAX, which is the Elixir REPL. Oh, you know what? I don't know. Oh, okay. I do have Elixir installed. I have Elixir installed on my work computer, and this is my personal computer, so. But I do have it installed. So let's do, I think it's 45, 60, 64, 65, 66. Oh, I was off by one. Okay, so 60, 66, 67, 68 is equal to the string ABC. Oops, I think it has to be that. What did I get wrong this time? Oh, am I off by one again? Yeah. 65, 66, 67 equals ABC. What have I got wrong again? Huh. Okay. So strings are represented as arrays of integers. Like, not just represented that way, but they are strings of integers. And actually, I think they're called bit strings even. So kind of strange. It's not usually a problem, but every now and then you'll get an issue where a number that's sitting in an array just suddenly gets converted into a character and gets interpreted as a character. It's strange. All right, so let's go back to this guy. What do we have to do? Welcome a new guest to the party. So implement the welcome method to return a message given using the given name. So we should say welcome to my party and then the name. Okay, so in this case we could just use concatenation, but let's see if there's a interpolation. There sure is. So let's use interpolation. So we'll do, we don't even need to return anything probably, because I think Crystal has, similar to Ruby and Elixir, we'll return the last thing in the function body. So we'll do that and say name. I think we need an exclamation mark at the end there. Cool. So now, let's do this one. What do we need to do here? We need to say, welcome a new guest to the party whose birthday is today. Okay. Unfortunately, the program is a bit of a show-off, so the robot has to demonstrate its knowledge of every guest's birthday. Happy birthday, you are now. Okay. So we'll just copy that and do happy birthday name. You are now age years old. Oops. Let me go to the end there and add the closing quote. Okay. Now we're going to implement the last one, which says implement the assign table function to give directions to accept 5 parameters: the name of the new guest to greet, table number, the name of the seatmate, the direction where to find the table, the distance to the table. Oh, okay. Seatmate should be shortened to the first and last letter of the name. Frank becomes FK, Christian becomes CN. Okay. So there's a few things we need to do here. The first one I want to know is how do I do multi-line? There he goes. There's the example right there. I am curious about, it looks, some languages have this issue where, like JavaScript for instance, the string literals, if you have indentation as you normally would, that indentation gets put in the string as well. So I don't know how that's going to affect it, but we'll find out. Okay, so we're going to say welcome to a party, Christian. So this will be name right here. You can tell that I am not proficient at Vim at all. You've been assigned to table. Your table is direction, I suppose. Direction. Exactly. Distance. Meters from here. You'll be sitting next to, and this is where we need to do a little bit of work here. I suppose we can do it inline. Yeah. Because you can put any expression within these brackets here. So what should we put in here? We need to put the first character and the last character of neighbor. So neighbor 0 plus neighbor, and let's see how we do indexing from the end. We have to find the size of it and then do -1. Oh, no, you can just do -1. Cool. So -1. And that should be it. Okay, so let's do crystal spec. Let's see how that performs. Okay, you will be sitting next to neighbor 9 -1 expected argument 1 to char plus to be an int or string, not char. Int or string, not char. Okay, so to add two characters together, how do we do that? Concatenation, conversions between string and numbers. Problem is that we're not actually getting a string, we're getting a character. To get a character from the index and a string. Okay. So, how do we add two characters together? Not sure about that one. Well, we could try putting a 2s on it. Or, another thing we could try and do is a couple things we could try. We could try, I think if a string is represented as a list of characters, which I'm not sure if it is or not, then we could try putting them in a list, just like that. And if that doesn't work, then we can try a couple more things. We can do a .2s to convert it to a string. Nope, I didn't like that. Okay. So it's kind of naive for me to think it would work like that. The other thing we can do is really simply actually just let's do dt. Okay, just put directly next to it another expression of neighbor -1. Got this extra one here. Okay, let's see. I'm also noticing that it looks like that indentation is being put into the string there. So we may have to mess with that. Yep. It's interesting that this is represented. Okay, you've been assigned to table 4. Your table is by the facade. Oh, it really is just that bit that's different, right? Okay, so let's go back. And so I don't really know what the best way to fix this is, but for now we're going to do that, and I believe that will fix the error. Two failures. What do we got? Oh, I forgot that we're supposed to round this. Okay. Round it down? It's weird because this one's being rounded up. And this one. No, okay. They're both just being rounded to the appropriate position. Okay, that's fine. think it said that somewhere in here. It says provides a table number, also known as the distance table, unfortunately only with a precision that's limited to 1 digit. Okay, so let's do that. Let's take care of that. We need to round the distance by, let me think about what this would probably be, dot. Problem with me using Vim is I don't have like tree sitter set up and things like that. So let's see, crystal round float. Crystal language. Here we go. Be able to find the functions in here probably. Instance, methods, constructor details. Round self to an integer value using rounding mode. Round this number to a given precision. Okay, so let's try that. Round 1. That would have been my guess. Good to double check. Hey, we're good. Okay. Cool. Let's go back to here, refresh the page, and let's take a look at how other people have solved this one. It's not a terribly complicated one, but a little more concepts. Oh, whoops, I actually wanted to go take a look at the community solutions. Now, Exercism just released this new thing with community solutions where they're grouped by, like, similar ones are grouped together. So let's just open up this one here. Take a look. Okay, so instead of doing the multi-line, they just put the line breaks in there. Round 1, neighbor 0. Okay, so they did exactly the same as I did. Okay, let's go do a couple more maybe. Let's take a look at the syllabus here, move along through here. String methods, that's the next one. This is called High School Sweetheart. And we'll open up crystal file. Okay, so there's basically just different methods. We got substrings, downcase, upcase. G sub works the same as sub, but will replace all occurrence of the first argument with the second argument. Interesting. Oh, sub is not a substring, it's a substitution. Interesting. Chomp and strip. Chomp method would be the default to remove the last characters from a string. The method is called an argument to remove a given value from the end string. Huh. Very strange. Okay, strip is like chomp, but for only white space characters. Indexing on a string, deleting at, inserting at. Okay, let's clean up the name. So we want to take a name and remove all the dashes from it and replace them with a space. Should also remove any white space from the beginning and end of the name. Okay. Easy enough. So we're going to just basically take the name dot strip dot g sub dashes with space, and what else do we want to do? I think strip only took things from the end, from the beginning and end. Okay, so that's all we need to do. Should remove any white space in the beginning and end of the name. So I think that's all we need to do for that guy. let's do get the name's first letter. Implement high school sweetheart first letter method. Take a name and return its first letter. Make sure to reuse. Oh, that's a good clue there, because you need to clean up the name first. So I think def self cleanup name. How do we refer to the method within here? Is it just clean up name dot I think it was called index or something like that. Index. No, index is to find the index of a character. To get, oh, to just index, to just get the character, you just do that. There we go, easy enough. Okay, self dot initial. Put the initial, format the first letter as an initial. Take the name and turn its first letter uppercase followed by a dot. Make sure to reuse first letter that you defined in a previous step. Okay. So we just need to do first letter name dot uppercase, and then add a dot at the end. So is it better to interpolate or just add the dot? Let's interpolate. I prefer interpolation generally because it kind of gives you an idea of the structure without you having to think about the arithmetic of the concatenation going on. Okay, so this one was something along the lines of, whoa, that's strange. Why when I press a space, it's, oh, because I'm not in insert mode. Okay, put the initials inside of a heart. Grab the initials, put hearts on the beginning and the end, and then do a plus in the middle of it. Let me grab that heart character. We're going to let's do some helper things at the beginning here. We're going to say initial one equals initial name one. That already has a dot on it. Initial 2 is equal to initial. No, I just realized that's not really saving much. Okay, let's go back. Okay, so we'll put the heart character. That's interesting how it shows up in there. Heart character, space, initial name 1, and then we need to do a space plus space, whoops, close that out, and then do initial name 2, initial, there we go, and then we do another heart and close it out. Okay. Let's see how we did. Did mean uppercase. What did I say? No. Uppercase in that case is checking to see if it's uppercase. In this case, I want to do uppercase. Okay. So let's say this guy needs to be uppercase. Okay, what do we got here? First letter of this, Sarah. Okay, so I think I just need to swap around dashes in the, we need to do the G sub first. So we'll do that. And then we'll just say dot strip. That should take care of that one. Okay, only one failure. Got initial. Oh, it's because that's the wrong. Whoops. The wrong interpolation character. That's a JavaScript one. Okay, now what? I think I'm just missing a couple of spaces, that's all. Extra space, extra space. Nice. Okay, pretty straightforward. Let's go back here, refresh the page, and submit that. Mark is complete. And let's take a look at what else we have in our track here. Conditionals. Let's go back. Let me see if we want to do another one of these classes or something. I remember doing this one, Space Age, in Pharaoh, which is arguably the most object-oriented language. Pharaoh is the modern implementation of Smalltalk. So this might be an interesting one to do in Crystal to get more of an idea of the object-oriented aspect. So let's give that a try. Actually, you know what? The other one I'm curious about in terms of exercises here is supposed to solve a certain set of exercises to get the end of the year badge. They've already switched this out to Nibbly November though. I forgot how we see like the whole all the exercises. Oh well. I'll figure that out some other time. All right, so basically, I think the way that we want to do this is given an age of seconds, calculate how old someone would be. So essentially, what we're doing here is we're instantiating. Let's actually open up the file real quick. We'll do okay. I thought it was going to give us a little bit more. Some of these are a little annoying because like these exercises are they don't give you any guidance of like what to do or like what they're expecting, and you kind of have to reverse engineer it based on the test. And maybe that's the point. Maybe the point is to be able to do like test-driven developments, you know. So you just run the test, let it fail, and then you figure out what am I missing. So showing last frame, undefined constant space age. Okay, so what that looks like to me is that I should be creating a module called space age. I don't know. What do modules look like again in Crystal? Modules. Going the wrong way. Let's go back to the learn here. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to go to exercises. and then go to learn, because I know there was one on modules just recently. Classes. Okay. Elixir calls them modules, but it would make more sense for them to be called classes here. So creating a class. Oh, it's called a class. So I think I want a class called class space and then we want to do, what was the error again? Maybe I need to open up a second pane here. We'll do cd exercism crystal space age crystal spec age dot from seconds space colon age. I want to go back to the overview because it's probably going to tell you how to build classes, right? Count, instance methods, instance variables, weather, modify class methods, juice maker. The question I have here is where does that age come in the naming? Let me think about this. So it's going to, from seconds is essentially like a static constructor, right? So I think age is part of the class name. So we're going to have a def from seconds, and that's going to we're going to have instance variable they can be initialized in the initialize method. They are defined using the at prefix. To access an instance variable, you need to define an instance method. Instance method are defined using the def keyword, followed by the name of the method. They are defined inside the class definition. Instance variables with initialization. Okay, so I think we need to just have, let's go back here. This is going to give us the age in seconds. So we're going to have an instance variable called age in seconds. And we're going to have seconds here. And that's basically just going to say age in seconds is equal to seconds. Okay. Dot age on earth should be close. So they have this internal thing of saying that these should be close. Age on earth should return back this number of seconds to age on earth. So let's do that. So end that, and we'll say def age on earth, and that one doesn't actually accept any arguments, so I don't even think we need that parentheses there. So we'll just say age in seconds. That's going to be divided by this many seconds. End. All right. Can't use int as a type of instance variable. Just use a more specific type. Oops. I'm gonna actually just remove that for now. And try to get a little smart by providing a type. Oops. There we go. Can't use instance variables at the top level. Okay, so I thought that's... How do we do this again? In the class definition in the form, that type. Okay. So this will be int. Use a more specific type. So what type should I use here? Okay, 32 or something. Let's do an int 32. Instance variable agent seconds of space was not initialized directly in all the initialized methods, rendering it nullable. Indirect initialization is not supported. Okay, so I guess we'll use the initialize method. Def initialize, and then we'll just say age in seconds equals seconds, and do that. Undefined method from seconds for space age class. Now this probably has to be a static method. So class methods are methods that are defined in class but not on the instances of that class. It's self.balance. Okay. So this would be self.from seconds. Instance vars are not yet allowed in meta classes. Use class vars instead. Interesting. What am I missing here? What am I doing wrong here? I definitely got this working for this exercise using this class here. What did we have to do? Running is equal to false. Fluid. Self debug light on true. In meta classes, use class vars instead. Instance vars are not yet allowed in meta classes. I think this actually needs to create a new space age instance essentially. Yeah, I think that's what needs to happen. So how do I create a new instance of the class? We do account new. So I think what I need to do is self.new and provide seconds. Can't infer the type of second instance variable age in seconds of space age. You could add a type annotation like this. Age in seconds is an int 32. I just want to see something that says certain tests have passed or failed. That'd be nice. Okay, we're getting closer. Space required before colon type declaration until 1 warnings were found pending. Okay. I think we're getting there. Let's implement some more of these then. We'll say def age on Mercury, and that will be orbital period this many Earth years. So we're going to take let's see, age on Mercury. So age on Earth, that's how many years, and then we multiply by that value. So we're going to say age on Earth, age on Earth times that. Right. Okay. All right, let's see if that gets us anywhere closer. Pending space age on Mercury. What does it mean for them to be pending? I don't know. It's a strange one. Crystal spec tests pending. I wonder if the tests have been commented out, perhaps. Let's vim spec. Yeah, they are pending. Okay. So let's do age on Mercury, and then same thing. Very inefficient at this. This would be a lot easier in VS Code, but we'll plow through. Okay. It's interesting that it's not telling me the ones that are not pending and how they're doing. But we will go ahead and just implement the whole thing then. Age on Mercury. We're going to do age on Venus, and that's going to be this times Earth years. age on Mars will be this many Earth years. Jupiter is 11.86. Oh. Saturn. And then Uranus. And last will be Neptune, because Pluto is no longer a planet. Neptune. Cool. So now that we have all of those, let's clean this up a little bit. And run all the tests. Shouldn't tell me any pending or undefined methods anymore, but all of them failed. 7 failures, 8 examples. Okay, did I go the wrong direction? Because Earth seems to be okay, I guess. So I guess I'm going the wrong direction on this. I'm saying divided by. That's why I was hoping to test this out before implementing all of them. So what I need to be doing then is age on Earth divided by that number. All right, hopefully that worked out. Yay, cool. All right, so let's revisit this real quick. So this is the object-oriented aspect of it a little bit. We've got this class, I guess, an encapsulated state, right? And the initialization function, which is kind of like the constructor, I guess it is the constructor, right? Is what takes the initialized value and initializes the encapsulated state to that. But there's this static constructor, essentially, that is being used to create a new instance internally with that value instantiated, and then from then on, you don't even need you're already referring to that instance, and so you can refer to that internal state, and then just grab different things. So I guess that's kind of the neat thing of object-oriented programming is in functional programming, essentially these would all just be functions that you would always have to pass along the argument to, right? And there's an implicit argument that's happening when we do that dot method chaining, where the thing that comes before it is the first an argument that's passed, implicit argument, which is the instance itself, and that instance can contain states that you can act upon. So object-oriented programming is not something that I've really done much with, but it's something that I don't know. I'd like to learn a little bit more about it, I suppose. Anyway, so that's Crystal. Let's get out of here, out of them here, and do the exercism submit here. Cool. So I think we're at like let's see how many exercises I've finished for Crystal here. We'll go back to my 12 and 23 map here. All right, so JavaScript, I'm not gonna count that as one of mine here, but so I've done Clojure, C++, Crystal, Elm, Pharaoh, Rust, Raku, OCaml, and Julia. Now most of these, as you can see, Elm, Pharaoh, Rust, Raku, OCaml, and Julia. I only did 5 just to like say I did it, but I do hope to come and revisit most of those and get a better idea of the full language there. I did actually a fair amount of Clojure. This is about a third of the Clojure track, and I did a fair amount of C++ as well. C++ was kind of easy because, well, I shouldn't say that. I was using Copilot in VS Code, and no, Copilot is not very good at most of these other languages like OCaml or Elm or Rust, but it knows C++ really well. So it was before I could even finish typing like a comment or something like that, it had written the whole code snippet. Anyway, next month will be, or I guess it's already this month, is Nibbly November, which is basically assembly languages. So I'm going to be doing WebAssembly. I learned a little bit of MIPS when I did a college class, but I'm very interested in, I mean, WebAssembly has clearly got a lot of potential for changing how the web's going to work in the future. And I am interested in maybe eventually implementing a programming language that that compiles down to WebAssembly. So it'd be good to know that. Oh, here's all the exercises I have to do. That's cool. So this is how you keep track of all the different exercises you have to solve to get the badge. Nice, nice, nice. All right. Anyway, we'll call that the end of the stream, and I'll see you next time.